guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katina and I am the creator of Live Life Learn. I created this channel because I simply wanted to document my debt-free journey that I started last year, and I want to just take you guys along with me. Hopefully my videos will inspire somebody to jump on board as well. This is my first ever journey that I actually took serious, okay? So I'm hoping that the information that I provide, my transparency, inspire someone to also get on a debt-free journey or whatever journey that you want to jump on board with, just to change your life and to enrich and enhance your life. So if you're interested in these sort of videos of transparency, documentation of one's journey, well, this is the place to be. So I want to thank you guys for joining me. Thank you. Before I even forget, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. And if you have not yet, please subscribe. And when you're watching any of my videos, please give me a little like, a little thumbs up, and submit a little comment. I would really appreciate it. And it really helps my channel to grow, and it also helps to spread the word about financial debt-free journeys and inspiring others to do the same thing no matter where you're at in life. So now that I got all of that out the way, all of that info out the way, we're going to just go ahead and jump right into the topic. So what I want to talk to you guys about today is how to control your spending, right? How to control overspending specifically. Now, I am looking to the left of me because y'all know I pumped out this PowerPoint. If you didn't know, I pumped out this PowerPoint very early this morning, and I'm really proud of myself. I'm actually becoming a little PowerPoint expert, okay? And I am self-taught. So I figure if I can teach myself PowerPoint and how to work it and have all these little tools at my disposal with PowerPoint, surely I can continue on with this debt-free journey and become better at managing my money. So, okay, so I'm just looking over here because I don't want to forget anything. I have all of my little notes here on these little PowerPoint slides. Okay, so again, we're going to talk about how to control overspending. Now, I wanted to be sure that I was going back and forth with how to control overspending and how to stop overspending. Okay, so that was something that I was back and forth with, and I decided to talk about controlling overspending, and I'll tell you why as I proceed in this video. So there's some few things that I'm going to chat about in this video as relates to overspending, because that is a problem for me. Okay, it's always been a problem for me with overspending, but I must admit, since I've been on my debt-free journey, I've gotten so much better at it, okay? But I'm not where I really want to be in this process, so that's why I decided to talk about it, because I haven't perfected anything in this area. And so I'm on my way to becoming better. And I really don't like to say perfection, honestly, because it's such a high threshold to reach in terms of perfection. I really like to say I'm getting better, I'm becoming better, I'm becoming more aware of any sort of goal or changes that I'm trying to make in my life, right? I'm becoming a better me. I don't want to put the stress of perfection on myself, so I really strive for a better me, a better way to manage my money, a better way to manage me as an individual, okay? So I did a little research. Y'all know I did some research, and I went to, Miss Google Community College to find out some information about overspending, specifically Americans and overspending. And so this issue, this topic, or whatever you want to call it, is really an issue for a lot of people, okay? It is. So I'm part of that percentage, okay? So what I've learned is, with my research and things like that, was that 52% of Americans overspend, and that is a huge amount of people, okay, overspending money, including myself in that boat, okay? But hey, I am getting better, all right? I'm getting way better, and I'm going to be to a point to where I can stop it, but we're going to get there in a second, all right? So there's also a survey that was conducted of more than 1,000 people that found that 80% of people actually have some sort of budget in place. So again, that's 80% of people have a budget in place, but 52% of Americans overspend. So actually that tells me something. That tells me that you can still have your basic budget or whatever kind of budget you have going on in your household, but still be subjected and a victim to overspending, okay? So you can have your budget and overspend, but budget will really help you maintain a good level of controlled spending. Okay. So I want to talk about controlling spending versus stopping spending and why controlling spending works best for me. So just a little bit of, backdrop information. I tried, y'all, to stop spending a long time ago. I wasn't on any sort of debt free journey or whatever the case may be. I just decided that, you know what, I was going to try one of these no spend challenges, right? I did this, I think, 2 years ago. I committed to partially committed to a no spend challenge. And you know what? It did not work for me. It was a complete fail. I just was not prepared to take on a no spend challenge. First of all, I wasn't in the right mind frame to do it. 2, I wasn't committed. And 3, I really didn't know how much I had to give up, and how uncomfortable I was with this no spending challenge. So I stopped that. I said, girl, this is not for me. So as I started to, start my debt free journey last year, I decided to not focus on the concept of stop spending, which might work for some people. I know it don't work for me, okay? It did not work for me initially, but it works for some people, and that's awesome. That is amazing. But for me, I decided that, you know what, girl, why don't you focus on controlling your spending instead of stopping your spending? Because if I get control over my overspending, specifically, I'm talking about overspending, y'all, not just spending in general. But if I can control my overspending behavior and habits, it will then lead me down the road of stopping the overspending, okay? So the other topic or a point that I want to make in this subject matter here about overspending, I keep saying spending, but we all spend. I'm talking about overspending specifically, all right, which is problematic for me, okay? But I wanted to take a peek at what triggered my overspending. What is it that triggers overspending in me, right? What is that thing that's forcing me or causing me to overspend my money, all right? And then I also wanted to take a look at another point, and that's when I'm overspending my money, where am I at in my mindset? How does that make me feel? Where am I at in my feelings as I start to overspend money? Now, I did not get here, y'all, at this assessment phase of myself right away. It took me time. As I started my debt-free journey and I was completely committed to it, I started to assess myself. I started to think about my habits, my behaviors, all of that, my patterns and things like that. I started to dissect my own self, okay? So that's when I started to really look at these different areas of like overspending, what triggers it, and when I do overspend my money, how does that make me feel? And the fact of the matter is, y'all, is that I've been overspending since I can remember, but I just never defined it as overspending. I would just simply spend money just because I had it, or at least I thought I had it. I really didn't have it, but I would just spend money just because, right? Because I felt like it, or I felt like I needed, or I deserve it, right? So I really had to, as I started my journey, I had to dissect myself, do a little self-investigation, turn that mirror on me, on Katina, and say, girl, what is up? What is happening with you? And this, again, I did not get to this point right away. It took some time to actually look at the investigative phase of my life and what that looks like. Okay. So what areas I overspend on, we're going to talk about that. I'll share that with you guys because I want y'all to know what I be tripping at with my money. And what areas do I underspend? Now, that's something new that actually just kind of like arise and popped up in my head last night as I was creating this PowerPoint is, wow, I know that I overspend money, but where areas do I underspend money, right? You ever thought about that? I know I haven't. So, I had to, again, look deep, dig deep, look deep and say, okay, this is the area in which I underspend. And I'm going to share that with you guys, okay? So moving right along here, I did a little chart, you guys. Oh, gosh, I want y'all to see this chart. Hold on a second. So I did this chart. I'm going to see if I can pop it into my video. I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. But I did my overspending categories right here. And I'm going to tell you guys about those categories in which I overspend. And I was so proud of myself, y'all, that I did this chart. It's cute, okay? So there's like several areas in which I find that I overspend. So the first area of overspending for me was makeup, okay? I overspend quite a bit in the makeup area. And actually, I put myself at a 10. That's how bad it was. And then I was overspending in clothing as well as dining out and groceries. So those are the areas in which I noticed that I was really spending a lot of money for no good damn reason and just simply wasting money. And when I turned around and looked at all my shit, I just had way too much. I just have way too much stuff. And that is a result of pure overspending on impulse. So those are the areas in which I was really having problems with. Now, I must admit, now since I've been on my debt-free journey, that the areas of makeup, clothing, and dining out has decreased dramatically. Like it really, really dramatically, I should say. Did I say traumatic? I mean dramatic. Y'all know what I mean. It dramatically, dramatic, whatever. It decreased a lot. All right. So I don't really overspend in those areas anymore of makeup, clothing, and dining out because I'm learning how to control my overspending in those areas. But let me tell y'all, that grocery area, girl, we still working on it. Okay, we're gonna continue to work that area of overspending until I get it. Okay, I'm trying. I'm not giving up on myself. I will learn how to control myself at the grocery store. I promise. I promise myself that. Right. And so let's talk about some steps that we can take to curb overspending. At least these are the steps that I took. And you might want to take these steps as well if you feel like they're going to be helpful to you, okay? So I'll talk about investigating behavior. So you want to investigate your behavior. And basically what you want to do is just simply figure out why you're overspending your money. What triggers your overspending? So for an example with me, what triggered my overspending was I was angry. So I felt like whenever I got angry, I would just simply want to go buy some stuff that I didn't need. I would want to order something, buy something, because I felt like it was somehow helpful. It would help calm me down. I was also experiencing sadness and depression, which led to overspending for me. I would just simply take my emotional triggers and just take them right onto Sephora, honey. I would take my emotional triggers to Target or whatever I wanted to take them to spend my money because I felt like that was a healing mechanism for me. And in reality, it did so much damage to me financially and also a little bit on the mental side too, because when you're overspending at that moment, you feel like you're satisfying something within yourself, right? Maybe you're lonely, maybe you're depressed like I was, or going through some depression phase, or sadness or anger or stress, and you're just kind of doing a little retail therapy. Well, that retail therapy can truly cause an issue, right? It can really flip on you. And instead of it being therapy, it becomes a stressor. And that's exactly what I have been dealing with for a long time. So what areas was I overspending? Again, it was clothing, eating out, y'all. Oh my gosh, we were just eating out. My husband and son, way too much. We've gotten so much better in that area. And that's one of the reasons why I have not figured out this whole grocery store overspending situation because we're eating out less and less, and we're cooking more at home. And I'm just trying to figure out different things that I can cook and not eat the same things and get bored and want to go out to eat again. Okay. So again, that's an area where I'm continuously working on. So subscriptions is another area that we found ourselves overspending on. We had all of these subscriptions, y'all. From Hulu to Netflix to Boo Boo and Who. It was just way too many. Amazon, you name it, okay? Disney, we had so many subscriptions, right? And that's an area in which you can definitely overspend. Just like with clothes and shoes and stuff like that. And makeup, you don't need all of those subscriptions, right? You really don't. So we found ourselves overspending in that department and really had to work. My husband actually, he worked really diligently on reducing that category of overspending. I don't watch a lot of TV, not at all. Very seldomly will I tune into something. So my husband and my son really utilize the subscriptions and things like that. And so he realized that there was just way too much money coming out of the checking account for subscriptions, right? And so he went to work and reduced a lot, or just eliminated, I should say, a lot of those subscriptions that were unnecessary. All right. So after we had figured that out, we wanted to find out, how do we control our spending? Okay, how is it that we take control of our spending? And so here's some good tips for you. If you want to curb your overspending, okay, listen up. This is all based upon my experience and what I am dealing with currently right now. If you want to curb overspending, number one, I highly recommend that you pay for your expenses in cash, okay? So, since I have been on this journey of debt freedom, I find it more and more difficult to depart from my cash. That is right. It's easy, y'all, to swipe a credit card. It is easy to swipe a debit card. That shit is so simple, but yet it will get you in so much trouble. Even a debit card swipe will get you in trouble. So what I have learned to do was keep more cash available for me to use. And so once I'm at the store and I feel a need to spend my money on whatever it is I want to spend it on, I am very reluctant to do it. And I'm thinking to myself, girl, I'm adding things up before I get to the register, and I'm trying to see exactly, how much am I going to have to spend and how much am I going to have left, right? How much money will I have left over? And so I realized for me that using cash and me departing from cash from my fingers and from my wallet, whew, child, it's hard. It's hard. I struggle with the whole concept of paying cash, meaning not necessarily paying cash, but cash leaving my hands, right? Because cash is visible, it's very tangible, you can feel it, you can see it. You see, the bills or whatever, your cash bills, and you're like, damn, if I break this 100, I'm only gonna have $30 left. So I highly recommend, if you want to curb your overspending behaviors, is that you start using cash as much as possible to pay for your stuff. Now, some may disagree, and that's perfectly fine. You have to do what works best for you. But I have noticed for me that anytime I go to the store and I have cash in my hand, I'm thinking twice about whether or not I'm going to purchase something, because I'm like, girl, once I break this bill, that's all I'm going to have left. And so therefore it's causing me to kind of rethink and reconsider what it is that I truly want to buy. And most times these days I'd be like, I'm putting that back because I need my money. Okay. So the next thing you want to do to curb your overspending is to try your very best, your extra very best. Dig deep, reach down within yourself, and do not use that credit card. Okay? Stay away from the plastic, right? Do not try not to reach for your credit card. Reach for that plastic card out of your wallet or on your wallet phone. Don't do it. And I also recommend not using your debit card in the same light. It is so easy to rack up enormous amount of debt using your credit and debit cards. Yes, even your debit card. And when I say debit, because you can use it as a credit card, but it's contingent upon you how much you have in your checking account or whatever, your savings. But you can literally, on a debit card, deplete your entire savings or checking account if you don't know how to curb your overspending, right? If you don't know how to do that. So, and with a credit card, y'all already know, if you have credit cards, how easy it is to rack up debt. It's like, I don't see it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna buy it. I don't see the debt right now. I don't feel the effects of the debt. That's because you're using a plastic card versus cash. So again, do not use credit cards if you want to curb your overspending, and try not to rely on your debit cards. Get the cash out and you'll see how hard it is for you to depart from your cash, and you'll start to check yourself on what you're going to be purchasing. So the other thing that you want to do, the other tip that I have for you in curbing and your overspending habits and behaviors, is that you want to avoid those one-time only sales. Okay, y'all listen. Y'all already know. If you don't know, I have lots of credit cards, and I've reduced my debt quite a bit. I've worked really hard in the area of reducing, or actually eliminating. Let me just say that, not even reducing. I guess reducing my overall amount that I owe on my credit cards, but I've eliminated a lot of my balances, right? So, I get caught up in the sales, as do so many other people, especially those one-time sales, okay, those once-in-a-lifetime slash and dash deals. So you want to make sure that you avoid those sales. You want to watch out for those amazing sales deals that they say only come every now and again. That is a lie. Trust me, believe. It's amazing how they'll have a 24-hour, 48-hour sale, like at Macy's or something like that, just using Macy's as an example. And then that bad boy be extended for another week. And here we are, or I should say, here I am, rushing, trying to get to Macy's on this 24 to 48-hour sale just to see that they done extended the damn thing the entire week. So you want to be mindful of those amazing sale deals that are for limited time only. You want to resist the urge to shop those sales, and actually you want to put barriers in place, as I have. I've put some 24-hour barriers in place that will give me the time to think about whether or not I want that item. So what I have learned is that, you know what, if I give myself 24 hours to ponder on this item, will I find myself buying it? And here lately, y'all, no. I have not found myself like wanting to buy that thing after I took my ass to bed and slept on it. And I realized I either forgot about it, or I realized I really don't want it. No way. I want my money instead. I want to keep my money instead. So avoid those once in a lifetime's amazing deal sales. You can always get that stuff at a later time if you save the money for that particular item. Okay. The other thing is that you want to check your impulses. All right. You want to check your impulses, your habits, and learn to say no to yourself. Now, I'm a very impulsive individual. That's just me. It's my nature. Okay. I am very impulsive. I sometimes do things without thinking about it and then regret it later. Okay. So this was shopping for me. This is the overspending category for me, right? Is that I was not checking my impulses at the door. Girl, my impulses was like running through the door, like knocking the door down, right? So I really had to check myself on my journey and say, girl, you know what? You need to get these impulsive behaviors under control, because if I knew if I was unable to control my impulsive behaviors, I was not going to be successful on this debt-free journey. So I literally had to really take another assessment. Okay, I've been dissecting myself for quite some time since I've been on this journey. I do that a lot now. And say to myself, well, you know what? You already know that you're an impulsive buyer. You know you like to do things on a dime very quickly without thinking. But I had to literally take the time out to think about how my impulsive behavior is becoming destructive to my finances, okay? And also to my peace of mind, to be quite honest with you. So I've had to take a look at myself in the mirror, and I had to talk to myself, y'all, in which I do, okay? I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with having a one-on-one conversation with yourself, an honest conversation with yourself, and just checking yourself and saying, you know what, girl, this is how you are, and you already know that this behavior that you have, that's this impulsiveness that you got going on with yourself is damaging to your finances, to your household, and to your personal self. So you're going to have to check that. So just talk to yourself. Nothing wrong with it. I do it all the time. Okay. And I'm able to actually get a revelation. I'm actually able to receive a revelation and understanding about how I am and how I can change that. You know, I ask myself questions like, do you want this? Do you really want to not have no damn money? Okay. Do you really want to have this extra bullshit in your closet that you don't need? Do you really want to like not have nothing? So those are the questions that I ask myself now. And I'm like, girl, no, I need my money. I want my money in my wallet. I want to keep my money on me as long as I possibly can. And so that helps me a lot with curbing overspending. The other topic or checkpoint that you want to look at is you want to monitor your social media. You want to control social media as much as possible. And basically what I mean by that, it is so easy to be tempted to buy because you saw something on social media. I was really, I fell victim to that a lot, y'all. Like before I started my journey, I was so weak. I was so weak. My impulsiveness, girl, just was like a mess. It was like bad. So I would see something on Instagram or Facebook, an ad or whatever, or I'll see somebody, doing something with the product, and I'd be like, oh my God, I gotta have that. Ooh, her skin looks good. Or, ooh, ooh, I love that color of lipstick, or whatever the case may be, or ooh, that outfit from Fashion Nova is bomb. Damn, they got 50% off everything. So I allowed those social media temptations to infiltrate me, okay? They became a problem for me, y'all. And so I had to really think about purging and blocking ads on in my email. When I get these advertisements from whoever, from Bath and Body Works to whoever, I had to learn how to unsubscribe to those particular websites, or either on Instagram or Facebook. I really had to learn how to just bypass those things up and say to myself, you know what, you can't have that. Or either I'll tell myself, you know what, you have a color that looks exactly like that, okay? You don't need that particular shade of nothing. So you want to be mindful of social media. Social media is very, very powerful, you guys. It really has an impact on your behavior sometimes. It truly does, if you really think about it, especially if you have a weakness in your life. And we all have weaknesses, to be quite honest with you, whether it be with our finances, whether it be with our relationships or food or whatever the case may be. We all experience some weaknesses in our lives. So when you're on social media, you really have to put up some barriers to protect yourself from overspending, or either being attempted to buy something that you don't need. So if you have to purge your social media, do that. If you have to take a break from social media for a little while, just because that it's called an enabler, is what I call it, and it kind of puts you in this mind frame of, oh my gosh, I really want to have that, and you really don't need it. It is time for you to take a break from social media. It is time for you to purge social media so that you could not continue to overspend your money. So, to the next step of curbing your overspending, you already know you need to make a budget. It always, as I always say in my videos, everything goes back to making budgets, you guys. You got to make that budget. Listen, it don't have to be that hard. It's just, you need to just get you some paper, okay? No special books. If you don't have it, don't let that stop you. Go ahead and get you a little piece of paper, a little notebook. I know you got one laying around the house, and go ahead and start writing out your expenses. Write your income down, your net income, what you bring home. Write down all of your expenses, all of your line items, whatever that might be, your rent, your mortgage, your car note, your student loans, whatever, your utilities, your food, whatever monthly expenses that you have. Go ahead and do that budget, okay? Creating a budget every time you get paid, okay, and monitoring that budget in between your pay periods is going to help you curb overspending. It really, really works, okay? It truly works, I promise, all right? And then you want to save your money. That is the next tip that I want to give to you guys to curb your overspending. You want to save that money. Your money, okay? So let's go. It's time to start talking about savings, all right? Again. Yeah, savings has been like a lifeline for me, to be honest with you. That's why I constantly mention it, as I do with budget. It has truly changed my life, my financial life, and it's gave me a sense of security and peace of mind too. So you want to go ahead and start saving. Now is the time to save your cash, okay? Not tomorrow, not next week, right now, okay? So if you don't think you have the money to save, which is what I thought for the longest of time, I thought I did not have money to save, right? But you know what? I really did. So if you don't think you have the money to save, you need to think again. You need to go ahead and rethink that whole thing and tell yourself that you do have money to save, right? So you may say, girl, you don't know my financial situation. I don't have money to save. Well, I thought that too, okay? I thought that too. I didn't know my financial situation until I created a budget. And so I realized that I can save. Now, I'm not saying that you save this astronomical amount of money a pay period. If you can only save $1 every time you get paid, do that. If you can only save $5 every single time you get paid, do that. Initially, you guys, it's not about the amount, all right? It is not. I just had this conversation with my husband, actually. It's not about the amount of money you save. It is about creating a consistent habit of savings, right? Once you create a consistent habit of saving, you will then enjoy the process, right? You will then realize that you truly can save money, and then you will challenge yourself to save even more money every time you get paid. So you might start off saving $1 a pay period. That's cool, right? And you want to make sure that you track that. You want to make sure you write that savings down, right? You might say, you know what, I can do $5, I can do $10 a pay period. It's not going to hurt me, okay? If you just think about the amount of times that you eat out, you can put that and start that as a savings project for yourself. So again, don't think you don't have the money to save. Kick that out of your head. Kick that out of your environment, out of your mental space and your environment. You want to take control over your environment. You want to create the environment that you want, and you do not want to allow the environment to create or control you. You do that. So go ahead and just start saving your money right now. Start somewhere, create a consistent habit, and you're going to find that your savings capabilities will grow. You're going to challenge yourself more and more to save, all right? So also you want to start sinking funds and also money challenges, right? This is a really good way, you guys, to start the savings process. And I'm going to talk about that in another video, okay, because we're already into 30 minutes into this one. But sinking funds and also money challenges is a great way to curb your spending, all right? Once you start saving money and you know, getting into these challenges and sinking funds and things like create a savings account, you're going to find yourself curving overspending, right? You really, really are. You're going to decide that, you know what, I don't want to spend my money on that. I want to actually save my money and put it here. So it really does work. It's like a mental thing, all right? It's like a mental type of, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Awareness, okay, to save your money, create sinking funds and money challenges so that you can curb your overspending habits, all right? You also want to invest in yourself when you want to spend money, okay? And investing in yourself is very, very important. You want to be sure that you invest in yourself first. That's very important. We often miss ourselves and not invest in ourselves at all. And it's extremely to remember yourself and put some investments in you. That's something that I have never done for the longest of time until I started my journey. I didn't start investing in myself until I started months into my debt-free journeys, when I started to realize that I needed to start investing in myself. So to just kind of wrap this up, you know, to how to not stop overspending, but how to control overspending. So it's better to learn how to control your spending than it is to have to pay for it later, right? So you want to get a hold of your spending, because you know what, like me, you're going to have to pay for it later, okay? I have overspent for such a long time, and I got to a point where I realized that I'm truly paying a lot of money for my bad decision making and my impulsive behavior and my overspending, and it cost me a lot of money over time. And now I realize that I'm learning to curb it a lot more, okay? So when you learn how to control your spending, guess what? You feel empowered, all right? You feel in control of your money, and it's a beautiful thing. It's really a beautiful thing to feel empowered and in control of your finances when you learn how to curb your spending, right? You're not allowing your impulsive behavior or ads or the environment to dictate where your money goes. It's all up to you, okay? So once you get to a point of controlling, or I should say, yes, controlling your overspending, yes. Once you get to the point of controlling your overspending, guess what? Eventually, the next level to controlling your overspending, you're going to stop overspending. So that's why I decided to think about this a little bit deeper. I've seen several videos on stopping overspending. I've seen many videos, or actually I've read articles on how to stop overspending. And I'm like, you know what? That doesn't work for everybody. It sure as hell didn't work for me to stop something like that, right? To stop overspending. I really thought about what if I control for overspending first, right? Putting mechanisms, changing behaviors and habits. What if I first started with controlling my overspending? What will happen then? And y'all know what? I'm so proud, because I'm a witness to this. As I begin to progress and control overspending in areas, not every area, I haven't got every area down packed, but as I begin on my journey of debt freedom and controlling my spending, I saw a big, huge difference in areas where I literally stopped overspending. I stopped because I was able to put in control mechanisms, and then as I began to see my progress and as I began to see what a difference it was making to control my overspending, I then learned how to stop overspending in certain categories. And I feel like it's okay to just, to go from one category to the next in your control stop mechanism overspending. I think it's a good thing. That way you won't feel overwhelmed. You'll feel accomplished, just like paying off your debts one at a time. It's the same process that applies, right? You control first and then you eventually stop. And then it will help you to move further along in the process. It will motivate you. It will make you more committed. It will make you more disciplined in this area. And you won't miss out on nothing because you are now taking control over your money. You feel more empowered and you feel like you can do this, So I'm going to end it there or else I'll keep going at it about these tips. But I hope you guys enjoy this content of helping or stopping your overspending, how to control, not stop, but you'll stop eventually, but how to control your overspending. It is a challenge. It is not easy. It doesn't happen overnight. Okay. It's a process. That's what, anytime you're changing or doing a lifestyle change or trying to enhance yourself and make yourself better, it's a process. So just be patient with yourself and have grace, right? Have grace for yourself. Give yourself some time to work through your behaviors and investigate your behaviors, investigate yourself. Talk to yourself, right? Tell yourself, hey, I don't want this no more. I want something different, and see what that thing is so that you can achieve it. But I just hope this information is very helpful. I'm getting tongue here because I'm talking so fast. But I hope that this information has been helpful to you guys in learning how to curb or control your overspending. At a point, you'll get to the point where you just simply stop overspending because you see the benefits of controlling that behavior. All right. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the weekly word motivator of the week. Okay, guys. So let's chat about this weekly word motivator of the week real quick. I really like to give these weekly word motivators of the week because it actually helps me a lot to think about, what is going to motivate me for that week to keep me going on my journey. So the weekly word motivator of the week is time. Time, T-I-M-E, is the weekly word motivator of the week, and in Spanish is el tiempo. El tiempo equals time or means time, is the weekly word motivator of the week. So I decided to go with the word time, and you know what, y'all? I meant to get this book out to show you guys. So there's a book that I got from the library, and I'm reading. The name of the book is Why Willpower Doesn't Work, okay? And so one of the things that it referenced in this book as it relates to time is that it's not, we often say, I don't know about anybody else, but I know I say, and many people that I know say, is that they don't have time. They don't have time to make changes in their lives. They don't have time to do whatever it needs to take to enhance their lives and make themselves better. And I'm atrocious for saying such a thing, okay? But you know what this book has taught me so far? I'm only in chapter 2 and I've learned a lot, and it's called Why Willpower Doesn't Work. It's not that we don't have time for something. It's just that we simply don't make time, right? We just don't make time. So you might want, one might be asking, as I did before I started my journey, I tried to I used to tell myself I didn't have time. Okay, I didn't have time. I used to say that I really need to sit down and think about how I was going to start this journey or whatever the case may be or how I wanted to do it. And I did not make time for it right away, okay? And so time is so precious. You can't get time back, okay? Time is something that you don't get back, all right? We're blessed with 24 hours in a day. God gives us that 24 hours. It's a lot of time to do what it is that you need to do, right? So we are fortunate and blessed enough to have all of those hours to take care of our business, to set goals, to make changes or try to make changes in our lives or plan to make changes in our lives and execute them, right? And so we do have the time. And I want to speak about time as it relates to your debt-free journeys, okay? Let's talk about that. It's important that you make the time to start a debt-free journey if that's what you're trying to do, all right? If you want to get out of debt, if you want to change your financial lifestyle, if you want to be financially free, if you want to save money, if you want to curb overspending so you can eventually stop overspending, you have to make time to do so. And you said, Katina, girl, well, when is time? Now, when is it? Right now. Right now is the time, right? I was so bad at waiting for a right time. Okay, right time never showed up. It just never showed up. And yes, things happen in its own time. That is so true. Things do happen in its own timing. But guess what? Sometimes we delay action because we say we don't have time, right? And my husband and I talk about this all the time with these little things that we have to do around our house, like our little fixer-uppers or whatever. We'll find ourselves saying we don't have time or we ran out of time. And the fact of the matter is that we simply didn't make time. We did not make time for that project. And so therefore, we find ourselves losing time. Okay, so time waits for no man. All right, we already know time be moving. Okay, all right, and it is for up to us to decide whether or not we're going to take advantage of the time that we have been blessed to have, right? Can we really manage our time? I don't know if we can really manage our time, to be quite honest. I've been thinking about time management and I pray about time management, but I don't know if that's really accurate. I think we need to do what we need to do within the time frame that we have. So if you want to change something about yourself, right? If you say to yourself, you know what, I'm gonna wait till next week to start saving my money. Okay, next week is on. Okay, no. If you have $1 in your wallet or in your handbag or in your drawer, go ahead and start there. Start right now. Sometimes there is no perfect time for anything. You just got to jump in there and do it. And as you start, you will learn how to navigate the process, right? You will learn how to make things better for yourself. You will learn what works best for you. But for God's sake, take it from me. Just go ahead and start. I did not plan, if you will, on starting a debt-free journey in June of last year. Y'all, I just got tired. I got tired of not having no money. I got tired of working my ass off and not having control of my money and my money just flying, just moving, just gone, right? As soon as I got paid. So I decided that the time was now for me to start, okay? So once again, if you're trying to save money and you find that it's hard to do and you don't have time to save or you don't have it, yes, you do. The time is right now. Don't wait. You got $1? Use that. You got $5 in your purse that you can spare to save? Go ahead and start now. And then as you start to get your paychecks rolling in or your next paycheck, and then you can really go ahead and plan it out and write it out on how much you plan to save or start to save, right? Get your goals in order, get your mechanisms in place so that you can get the process rolling. Time doesn't last. Time is not on our side, I should say, okay? When we're gone, time will still be moving, okay? But you want to make sure that you utilize time to the best of your abilities, right? You want to be grateful for the time that you have to make these changes. You don't want to continue to keep delaying things, right? Because you don't have the time. We all have the time, right? We really, really do. But just make sure that you don't use "I don't have time" as an excuse, and realize that you just need to just simply make time. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for listening to me. I hope this video is helpful in helping you curb your overspending, because I know it's going to be helpful to me. So just remember, you guys, to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video if you like, right? And you guys have an amazing day. I hope that your day goes really well for you and you guys be free and be at peace. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.